Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here. So it's been just over 2 weeks since a young man's life was senselessly taken from him during a trip here to Tampa from California. What this young man thought would be a night celebrating with his friends after a wedding ended in senseless gun violence just a few blocks away from here, downtown Tampa. Since this date, which was October 9th, I cannot stress to you enough how many and how much the members of your Tampa Police Department have been working 24/7 tirelessly to bring this victim and others to justice, to bring justice to this victim. Not only did that 30-year-old victim die that night, but there was others that were struck by gunfire. Today, I'm proud to tell you that we have done just that. With the help of the U.S. Marshal's Office Fugitive Task Force, we were able to arrest both men who opened fire outside this lit Cigar and Martini lounge just a couple of weeks ago. Through investigative means, we located 20-year-old Jose Clavel and 32-year-old Damaso Bravo. They were hiding at a hotel in Brownsville, Texas with their girlfriends. The men have no known family ties to the Brownsville, Texas area, and incidentally had a significant amount of cash on them, about $20,000 at the time of their arrest. We have every reason to believe that had we not actively and relentlessly pursued these individuals every day since the shooting, that they would have attempted to cross the border and escape punishment that's headed their way. Our detectives have also confirmed that these two individuals are members of the Latin Kings. Again, we are so thankful for our partnerships with the U.S. Marshal's Office Fugitive Task Force, both locally and in Brownsville, for their help in this investigation. But our work is not done yet. We are actively working with authorities in Brownsville, Texas, to have these suspects extradited back to Tampa so that justice can be served. Damaso Bravo is facing 3 charges of aggravated battery with a firearm and felon in possession of a firearm for his part in the shooting. And Jose Clavel, the man who we believe fired that fatal gunshot, killing that 30-year-old victim that night, taking an innocent man's life senselessly, is facing a first-degree murder charge. As our downtown area changes and evolves and grows, we want the public and the community to know that the safety and security of our residents, visitors, and other visitors of the city of Tampa are a top priority. Our efforts and resources poured into this case are an example of that. We are continuing to daily collaborate with all of our city partners, other city departments, code enforcement, zoning, the downtown partnership, just to name a few, to identify issues or trends facing our areas of the city. Not only the downtown area, but all areas of our city as it changes and grows. And that through having these extra sets of eyes on the streets, we're able to identify problems faster and if needed, make changes that could save lives. But most importantly, I'd like to thank the detectives and the hard men and women at the Tampa Police Department that worked tirelessly to make sure these two were brought to justice within 2 weeks of this crime being committed. Thank you. I'll take any questions you have.
Where are they from exactly? Are they from Tampa?
They're from Hillsborough County.
Okay. And then has the gun been recovered that was used in the shooting? Can you say that?
Not yet. We're still actively investigating that.
And what can you say about just the Latin Kings aspect of this story? What have you guys learned about that and their affiliation?
Yeah, it's hard to tell exactly, but obviously when you've got very dangerous people on our streets and we worked tirelessly to get warrants for them, we don't end it right there. We investigate them. We need to find out who their associates are, where they would be, social media, anything that can help us get them off the street quicker. And through these investigative means, we were able to identify that they are, in fact, Latin King gang members. Investigation. investigation. We had warrants for them, and like I said, once the warrants are issued, it doesn't stop at that point, especially for two individuals that are so dangerous. But our fugitive task force, through the U.S. Marshals Partnership, that's how we identify and locate individuals that have fled the Tampa area, and they're able to assist us in other parts of the United States.
There's an argument.
I think it's really just a safe assumption based on where they were geography-wise and the fact that they were hiding in a hotel. You know, I don't want to make unfair assumptions, but Brownsville, Texas is about as close to the Mexican border as you can possibly get. Yes, sir?
There's an argument at the club before they kind of fled and all this. What was the argument over, if you know, what was that inciting?
Yeah, we still don't know. We know one group of individuals was with a wedding party, and we know that this other group of individuals was obviously up to no good at the club also. And there was some kind of a verbal dispute that broke out inside the club, and they spilled it out onto the street where these two dangerous individuals armed themselves and shot multiple people, fatally injuring one. He was part of one of the groups that was involved in the dispute, but we're still going through video and other investigative means to see exactly, you know, who shot who was arguing. But I think at the end of the day, I think it would be unwise to say that this argument couldn't have just ended at that, right? Just an argument. You know, why anyone thinks they can bring a gun to a what could otherwise be, you know, finished as a fist fight is just, it's just senseless. And it's also not going to be tolerated. I mean, I think we always stress that obviously a sense of safety and security is the Tampa Police Department's #1 priority, and I think it's important for anyone to be alert of their surroundings. I mean, I think alcohol and a 3 o'clock in the morning fight is not a good mix ever, but we want our residents and our visitors to feel safe in our entertainment venues. I think the thing to stress here to the community is that we are absolutely going to find you if you commit gun violence in the city of Tampa. And the more word this spreads through our community partnerships, the less tolerated it's going to be by the community that wants to have a nice time out here. So for 2 weeks now, we've just been working tirelessly to bring these two individuals back to Tampa.
We know when the fight happened, a guy left and came back. You guys said he left and came back with a gun. Do you know where he went to get the gun?
A car nearby.
And then whenever they were arrested at the hotel, were they taken without any incident? How many people were involved in that operation?
It's breaking. Obviously, it was only just a couple of hours ago, so I don't have any details on whether or not there was any struggle or anything like that. But the Marshals Task Force, our partnership with the U.S. Marshals, they're pretty swift in what they do. They're very, very talented in how they do this. So,
Are your girlfriends cooperating at all?
don't know that yet. Yeah, we can't make that assumption. I don't believe so. You know, if they're wanted nationally, right? They're not just wanted in the city. So when they have an FCIC, NCIC warrant, that's available for every law enforcement officer around the nation to know.
Chief, could you give us the correct spelling of these suspects' names?
Yes. The first one is 20-year-old Jose, but it's spelled Josue. His last name is Clavel, Clavel. And then the other suspect is Damaso Bravo, first name spelling Damaso, last name Bravo, Bravo, and he's 32. And that's okay. The warrants that we have is for Damaso Bravo is aggravated battery, but the shooter of the fatality of the man that was killed is Clavel.
Did the hotel say how long they were staying there?
We don't have that yet. These two? They were all at the club, and it all spilled out into the street. Exactly, I believe most of the victims, if not all, were with the wedding party, including the deceased. Previous criminal history? They both have histories. To what extent, I'm not sure.
Can you say the name of that hotel?
No, not yet.
Well, I have one related question in terms of this, like, there's people in the area, is there any, like, enforcement changes coming, or anything you guys are doing more?
I mentioned it a couple of weeks ago. Every year we go into what's called our deployment discussions, where we have to obviously look at crime trends and adjust based on the geography, what's going on in that area. Like, we may have a particular area that's getting riddled with auto burglaries, and we would adjust according to that. Our entertainment venues, like I said earlier, sometimes this 3 a.m. and alcohol doesn't mix in a good way, so we need to deploy appropriately. Every weekend we focus on Ybor City, Soho, downtown, but sometimes we're not there exactly when that person makes that very bad decision to fire that shot. But we are going to talk about deployment. I know people have said that they're nervous. I completely understand that. I'm in the business of keeping people feeling safe, but I think it's important for them to know that this is not unsolved, and that these two very bad individuals are still roaming the streets and still a threat, because that's not the case. We have.
What do you say to the family members and even friends of individuals that have been shot, some of them very young, that say, I don't necessarily know if TV is doing enough to curb this and try to stop it from happening?
Well, what I would say to those family members is that this isn't really only a police department problem. I think it takes a village to raise a child, and we need to keep that mentality. That's why, since I've been here at TPD, I've really taken on the stance of getting our other partners involved, getting the clergy involved, getting our community partners involved, so that word can spread that making a bad decision as a 20-year-old, shooting and killing someone else, you can't take that decision back. And now your life is forever changed. So I stress to the parents who are letting their kids walk out the door in the morning, if you think your child may have a gun or have some bad intentions, stop it. Get us involved earlier rather than after the fact. I think that, it's important that we see this as a community problem and not necessarily the police department's problem. And I'm not being defensive. I'm just saying that we're making the arrests, we're responding, we're out there, we're protecting you. Maybe we can have an ounce of prevention before it even gets to this point. And in order to have that prevention, we need to all have awareness that these very big decisions have very big consequences.
I wanted to ask you about Franklin Street specifically. This is the fourth shooting that's happened there this year. Why is that?
Again, I think it's just the density of the population, the 3 o'clock in the morning, the fact that alcohol, people lose their judgment. Alcohol clouds judgment, and I just think that people need to be a little bit more aware of the fact that taking a gunfight to a dispute is never a good decision.
How frustrating is it for you to go through this when you consistently see that teenagers and those that are young are the ones committing these crimes and then also having their lives taken?
It's heartbreaking. I have a 21-year-old son myself, and I would hate to see him make a decision that would change his life for the worse for the rest of his life and never have the beauty of what it's like to raise a family and get married and be able to get a job and go to college. And these young men and women are making very bad decisions, and I would welcome the community's input in what we can do better as a community to prevent these bad decisions.
Can you say
Thank you, everybody.
gentleman who died? Are you saying that? Releasing that?
The name of the man who died, I don't know. He's a victim. Yeah, no, he's a victim, so we don't release that yet. Anybody that wants Spanish audio, Hector is here. Thanks, everybody.